Okay, it's Monday, everybody. Hello and welcome into Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Brand new week. Man, wow. Seems like the weekend kind of flew by. I don't know what it was like for you, Barry, down in Troy with some baseball wrapping up the regular season.
Well, it flew by because the son, the daughter-in-law, and the grandkids were here.
Oh, fabulous.
Yep.
Yeah.
I almost, you can probably tell, I'm scrambling again, and I almost didn't make it in. My studio was served as the substitute bedroom for the granddaughter. So, I mean, she didn't do anything wrong, but we had to move things around and kind of granddaughter-proof it. And I'm thinking, all right, where's my microphone? All right, what did I do with it? So barely made it back home, but it was a good weekend. The regular season is over in college baseball, and there's plenty to dissect as everybody gets ready for the conference tournaments and stuff like that in baseball. Plenty there. The PGA Championship. Would you call it a rout? I guess it was a rout. 5 shots. We'll talk about all of it on the show today. Kind of a triumphant return. You and I have seen coaches come back to their old stomping grounds and win a game, a revenge game or something like that, or a player had a bad game against these guys last year and he redeems himself with a big game. I don't know on the PGA Tour that you really can do that, but redeeming yourself after an arrest the year before, I mean, there's some value to that.
I would think so. The arresting officer probably yesterday was thinking, wow, I actually really arrested that guy last year.
Probably should have just let that one go, maybe.
Yeah, maybe should have let that one go. You're right about that. But what a incredible comeback. You're right. I mean, kind of back in the pack a little bit after Friday's round, and Saturday, just a phenomenal surge that got him in the position to win it all. So, Scotty Scheffler, another major, and we'll certainly talk a little bit about that later today. The first thing that I noticed, did Chris the Bammer see our lineup card today? I mean, that's not everything we're going to touch on, but certainly a lot of the subjects and topics that we'll get to today. Chris has already hit them today. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Can the Braves beat a team above 500? What's on the mind of PM? How about the Phantom? So many questions. Chris the Bammer starts us off, giving us kind of a tone for what he expects from the program. He's sitting back going, okay, you know what I want. Feed me, and then later on it'll be something like good or typical off. And we're thinking, what is that about? Give us a little more. But at the beginning, he comes in hot. There's no doubt about it. And we will talk about every one
we will
of those topics at some point.
Yes, we will. Barry, I believe the NBA conference finals are set. We've been through the quarters. We've been through the semis. Now we're getting to the Eastern and Western Conference finals before we'll get to the what are they don't call that the World Series, just the NBA finals.
NBA finals.
NBA finals. But one more round to go.
We've got action tomorrow night in the first round of the West Finals. And then on Wednesday, it's the East Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the NBA Finals. I don't think that the sporting population, I definitely don't think that the networks are all that worried about the fact that it's Minnesota versus Oklahoma City and Indianapolis is represented. As long as they got the Knicks, everything's good. I mean, it ain't Bulls Lakers, it ain't Lakers Celtics or anything like that. But the Knicks are in, and if it hadn't been the Knicks, if it had been maybe I don't know, a team that hasn't been in contention, maybe the Wizards or something like that, they'd be wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth. But at least they got the Knicks.
They're happy that they've got the New York Knicks. No doubt about that. But I know what you're thinking. Well, these teams are good. They earn their right to be there. Yeah, okay. But I got to think behind closed doors in a boardroom, they're gnashing their teeth. Whoa, wait a minute. Where's LeBron? Where are the Lakers? Where's another big market team like the Bulls or somebody like that? I mean, Denver won it a couple of years ago. What happened to them? I mean, we got teams in markets that, don't even show up on the radar. So they're hoping that the ratings continue to be good. But I know there's an element out there that, has this, this team earned their right to play. They're good. Oh, okay.
Steve, this is what absolutely drives me nuts. It's un-American is what it is. Un-American. This country was not built upon. Let's get a few front runners out there, and all the people who sweat and sacrifice and all that, they can do what they want. And that's okay. But give me a few robber barons up at the top with the big, the big vests and looking at the stock tickers and stuff. Yeah, I guess it's all about what you do. And John says, where's LeBron and all that? Well, you do have, and I know what the reaction is going to be. You do have Gilgeous-Alexander. You do have Edwards. You do have Halliburton. You do have Brunson. And John's like, I suppose, they're good and all that, and they're playing really good basketball. But really, who cares about how good they are or how much they're producing or how accomplished they are? I'm just interested in the sizzle, in the pizzazz. Forget about all these. That guy who comes into the corporate office and he maybe set a company record in sales in 1994. He's still dressing in the double-notched white vinyl belt and the big lapels and everything with the flower shirt and everything. But that kid back there, that go-getter who comes in, grabs 2 cups of coffee, and then gets back out there and gets at it. Man, that guy's horn-rimmed glasses. Halitosis, he's got some, what's that skin condition he's got? But he's killing it on the sales route. And all those old fogies over there going, hey, I really remember that guy, boy, what a month he had in March of 1994. No, it's the kid that's killing it.
Those NBA names that Barry just reeled off.
Halliburton, Gilgeous-Alexander, Edwards, Brunson.
You heard America with a collective. Who? So we'll see how the ratings pan out. As far as sales guy, I think of it this way. Wait a minute. How come Longshore gets to ease out Fridays at noon and doesn't have to stay here till 5 for that 30-minute end of the week sales meeting? Well, because Longshore's hitting his number every year or every month. That's why. Well, the guy's been around here for 30 years. What's the deal? Well, guy's hitting his number. It's like being on TV every week. Man, the guy's an old fogey. Comes in shorts to work every day. Well, that guy hits his number. Why does he get to do that? Hits his number.
Everybody in there in that Friday afternoon sales meeting. Now, did you ever get in touch with that guy over at Hackney Automotive? Well, I played phone tag with, and they're looking around thinking, where is Longshore? Golly, I wish we could, I don't know. I wish that we could penalize him or something or do something. Can somebody say something to Longshore? Well, I ain't saying anything to him. Last thing we want is to tick him off and, then they, no. I say, let's just let it go. And Longshore knows that. He's like, what are they going to do to me? I'm hitting that number like Roscoe every month. They ain't doing anything.
So as I'm watching the PGA yesterday, I mean, nothing against former Alabama golfer Davis Riley, who tied for second, but that's not who the nation wants to watch. Hey, look at this kid. He's making a surge. Wow-wee. But the folks at CBS are going, come on, Scotty, hold on. Don't blow it. Don't blow it, Scotty. So, I mean, hey, good for Davis Riley. I mean, I think he had a double bogey early in the round. He's kind of fading, but he reels off a string of birdies to get in a tie for second with DeChambeau in the crowd. But that ain't who CBS wanted. Jim Nantz did want to talk about Davis Riley yesterday.
Drives me crazy.
Nothing against
the guy
the
finishes second of the PGA, and John makes it seem like he's got, leprosy or something like that. All right, well, you can do good. You can do good, but For God's sakes, don't win it.
Yeah, don't be knocking Scotty out of first place now. Come on.
No.
Gee, we're looking for numbers here. So good finish. And then, tip my cap to that young man. Hey, look, he came out of the gate kind of, well, there's a term you can use. I don't know if I guess I can. You can pretty much say whatever you want to in this format. But anyway, he messed his pants up. I'll just put it that way.
Yes.
But he was able to gather himself and reel off a string of birdies to get back in it and finish tied for second. So good for him.
Is this your experience? This right here, is this what two-time caller of the year JD says? Is that pretty much, as Earth, Wind, and Fire would say, is that pretty much the way of the world? Sales meetings are for poor performers. Coffee is for closers. The golf course is for quota busters.
Very well put, JD. Very well put.
Okay, so in John's experience, JD's exactly right. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, back when we were there in our former medium, and we had that little glass booth that we used to sit in, and I'd see all these salespeople going up down the hall, and every now and then they'd look in that studio and going, what's up with this guy? I mean, I could just see it on their face. How come he didn't have to come to these sales meetings? I mean, I know he's on the air and stuff, but I mean, can he come to the ones in the afternoon at 4:30 when I got to sit here on a Friday? Never seen him for any of those. Matter of fact, I never see him at a sales meeting. What's up with this guy? You got it, JD. Hit the numbers, hit your quotas, exceed them. You're teeing it up on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, by Friday
your income.
While they're going into that last sales meeting and trying to come up with excuses why they didn't get that account that they thought they had. Longshore he's probably coming off the golf course going, all right, 10, 20. Yeah, okay. I'll send your people the paperwork. You just sign it, send it back to me, then we're good for the next year. Okay. Yep. All right. Good. Fine. Yeah.
As Sean Payton once said, I'm probably 3-4 Bud Lights in by that point. I'm making the turn. You kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's a good point, JD.
It all begins in the NBA playoffs in the conference finals. Begins on Tuesday. Timberwolves at the Thunder. ESPN or ESPN2, OKC, an early favorite in that one, I think 7.5 or so in Oklahoma City. And then on Wednesday, the East Finals, Pacers and the Knicks. That matchup from those many years gone by where John last put a little something on the NBA. The Reggie Miller series where Reggie got over on Spike Lee on the Knicks sidelines. They're playing again.
Yeah, they are.
And this is what's going to happen. We're going to be all over the Tuesday, the Western Conference Finals, watching that, making notes for the Wednesday show. Wednesday night, John ain't watching that one because you know what he's going to see? Reggie Miller in that fabled finish hits 3 threes in Was it 10 seconds? Was it 14 seconds?
Something like that. Yeah. It less than 15. It was just brutal. I can still see it.
Show it over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Two things he doesn't want to see. Doesn't want to see, are they going to replay the kick six again? And they're going to play this all over the place. The fabled conference finals where Reggie Miller hit 3 threes, and they're going to show every one of them. Catching the inbounds pass and turning and knocking in a no-look, turn around, fall away, rainbow 3, and then a steal. And then he runs out to the three-point line. And as soon as his foot hits the court on the other side, he turns and jacks it up, bottom of the net, game over. Spike Lee looks like he lost his dog. He don't want to see that.
Barry, one of those threes, he stepped back to make it a 3. He had
he looked at his feet. He looked at his feet and he said, no.
Yeah.
It's too close.
I mean, had the 2 open, but he had to really just go ahead and just stick that knife in even deeper. When he stepped back and hit the 3. And I'm talking about these didn't rattle around. I mean, it was all panties, nothing but net. I mean, it was just.
It ain't like brutal. It rattled around, bounced up, and then flipped through. Every one of them was whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, I mean, it was just brutal. And Spike Lee was right there courtside, which I did see him He's courtside still today, even after
always
many years. Therefore, the Knicks game. So looking forward to that. I know people are kind of worried, wondering, concerned. Hey, Phantom, no NBA tonight. What's the dog going to do? Don't worry. We got that covered. We got the Daily Dog covered. So just because the NBA's not playing tonight, there are a lot of options. Now, we've had to do a little looking around and researching and studying, but we feel like we've got one that we're pretty confident about. So we'll get into that later to the show today. But that's going on. Obviously, baseball, college baseball, and probably when we get back from our next break, we can get a recap or a look ahead, if you will, about what's going on in college baseball. The SEC baseball tournament begins in Hoover tomorrow. We'll talk about that, what can happen after conference baseball tournaments in terms of super regionals and things of that nature. Philip lost me early, Curtis. I didn't want to read the sob story about Auburn softball and how hard they fought and, the Auburn creed and all that business. He lost me on that one. So
he lost you on the headline.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I didn't want to read the excuses.
A lot to get to on the program today. Yes, later on, the Phantom's Daily Dog. Yes, our Moneyline magician, Josh Harris, a little bit later on. And, of course, one of the staples of the show, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland Topic Wheel, all still to come on Longshore and McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Back again. It's
past the hour here.
There we go. Yep.
Of 7 o'clock. Glad you're with us here on this Monday morning. Plainsman Preston had lunch with your brother-in-law on Friday. Preston, enjoyed talking with him. I hadn't seen him in a while. It was a little function with our good friends at Riverbank and Trust, and he was there. And we actually talked about you for a second. I told him how much you're a big part of the program, and it's good to see him. Friday.
I didn't know this, but I gritted my teeth and got it to the point that you never got to here. Philip says and this is so classic, does Auburn softball need a flamethrower or two? I love how his main writing mechanism is to ask himself questions and answer himself. No question about it. What I know is that this team, this Auburn softball team, went from 0-12 in the SEC to within a hair of a regional championship. I know that even when all seemed lost, they didn't give in. If future Auburn players take that lesson to heart, happy days are ahead for Auburn softball.
Weagle, war damn eagle. Kick them in the Butt Big Blue. See, that's what I'm paying $9.95 for. Also, this, Barry, the end was painful, especially for 9 Auburn seniors. They hugged. They wept. They had given so much, only to come up one game short. Wow. Flamethrower or two? Probably
sure.
So.
Yeah.
Might need it. But several
because
other
of a major SEC softball disappointments. Anybody? No, I didn't think so. Well,
and of course,
I'm all
the
about
SEC
it,
teams that are still in the tournament.
Yeah.
But anyway, tough season, no doubt about it. Also, I thought this was interesting. Focus turns to money in recruiting.
Yes.
There was an article I saw over the weekend at AL.com. Just one SEC school spent more than Alabama on football recruiting in 2024. Want to guess what school that was?
Georgia. No, just kidding. Got to be Texas.
Well, I would have thought that as well. It's the Tennessee Volunteers. I thought they were broke, but obviously not.
What they're talking about NIL too, right? Which it got to be that's got to be factored in for Tennessee, right?
I would think so.
I mean, because
combination.
as we all know, and as we've all been told, and has all been reinforced over and over again by the NCAA, NIL and recruiting are two separate things. Never the twain shall meet. I mean, you recruit your players, and then when they get to campus, businesses present opportunities to them to use their name, image, and likeness to promote those businesses, and then they contract with them for monetary compensation afterwards, right?
And I'm just guessing here. It doesn't mention NIL. It talks about money spent on recruiting. And if we're led to believe what we're hearing, that some of these schools have $20 million NIL budgets, this would just be football recruiting, because Tennessee spent about a little over $5 million just on recruiting, $5.4 million to be exact. Alabama spent $5.3 million just in recruiting. There again, I'm looking to see if NIL.
Then that ain't NIL. NIL's not in it if that's the number.
And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty. You would think, where's Texas? Where's other people like that? What about the Auburn Tigers? $1.5 million. Only 3 other teams in the league spent less than Auburn.
Oh, that can't be right. That can't be right. Somebody's putting money and calling it something else in there, because $1.5 million.
Creative accounting, huh?
Yeah, don't call that expenditure. Call that capital outlay or something. Don't call it. No.
Auburn's football
$1.5 million. That's Conference USA level. That's
Auburn's football recruiting spending was one of the few in the league to go down in 2024, when the Tigers dedicated just $1.5 million to the efforts. AU had spent just $1.6 million the year prior.
I got questions again about what they call recruiting, or how they allocate recruiting, John. Is recruiting transfer portal too? Are we just talking high school recruiting? Because, I mean, I do know that most every school in the Power Four is not spending as much money on high school recruiting anymore, because they don't do as much as they used to. And believe me, I'm not a big fan of that, of cutting down your high school recruiting. But $1.4 million? That's got to go for plane trips and home and on-campus visits and hotel rooms.
I don't think it cost a lot to have a hayride and a
park.
Pin the tail on the donkey, and
you got that. You got the water park out there on the other side of the interstate. Big group.
It's not like you can fly into the Robert O. Pitts Airport on a commercial plane. So I guess there's a lot of driving into Auburn. I guess, I don't know. I mean, the reason I bring it up, when I saw this, I thought, wow, this does look a little out of bounds here. I mean, I've said this before about something else. I mean, you're a big boy. Spend like it. I mean, instead of $25 million TV screens in the end zone, maybe, I don't know. But, hey, they've done well the last 2 years under Hugh Freeze, and maybe they found the system. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can still recruit at a high level.
I don't know. I still don't buy that. Goodness gracious. That's infinitesimal in this world.
Yeah.
Talent acquisition.
Matt Stahl pinned this article. Actually, I think I copied and pasted it to our email inbox. If you want to take a look at it, but
okay.
Wow, these numbers, these are Tennessee, almost 5.5 million, followed by Alabama, A&M, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Missouri, Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Vanderbilt, of course, does not have to report these numbers because they are a private institution.
But I'm telling you, JD, that water park, I didn't realize it had been closed for a decade. But still, I mean, you can get the key, run a hose at the top of that flume, I mean, you got the lazy river, get a garden hose, fill that thing up, I mean, you can do it yourself if you.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Stop the presses. Chihuahua State Park has been closed for how long?
No. The water park is across 29 from Chihuahua. Chihuahua is still there. Golly, the memories. Me and Jack going camping at Chihuahua, it was great. But no, I'm not doubting you, but your sources. But there's got to be some creative book cooking on some of that.
Chris has found the answer right there. One word: smoothies. You're right. They're expensive, Chris. It's all. Yep. That's it. That's what's killing them. It's the smoothies.
I don't know. That's hard for me.
Now, Barry, we're talking about an athletic program that has bust the football team back from Columbia, South Carolina, and stayed at the Budgetel, or was it the Red Roof Inn?
They did not stay at the Budgetel. That was the baseball team.
Wasn't Philip complaining about
football team? No.
Oh, okay. Golden Corral, something like that.
That was the baseball team.
Oh, football team, yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
So, I look. I'm not questioning Matt Stahl and his incredible.
You're just reading, yeah.
I'm just reading what Matt wrote. But when I did see that, I went. And what I really thought about was, wait a minute. Auburn's done really well in recruiting, football recruiting. We've been led to believe over the last 2 years. Are they doing? They're doing more with less.
See, which ain't the way. That ain't the way. You know what you want to try to do? You want to try to do more with more, like everybody else in the SEC is doing. There ain't never been a day when the habitual front runners in the league, and I consider Auburn right on that fringe, have said, you know what I like about our athletic department? We do more with less. Why is that a flex? Why is that a humble brag? And say, we can take $1 and we can stretch it.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that inside the Malmore building. They're not saying, God, all right. So if we cut down on the letterhead, how much extra ink does it cost to put 1944, 1941 Litkin House helms and all that at the bottom of our letterhead? Heck, do we even send letters anymore? Can we save some money? No, they never do that. They never say, golly, can you ask him if it's okay if he doesn't supersize that meal? If he just, gets the burger and fries? They ain't doing it. I'm telling you. And some of those programs out there are saying, hey, if we carpool those two recruits in that Mazda Miata coming back from the Golden Triangle Airport, that's got to save us $40 right there, right? Doesn't it? Huh? This is the SEC, John. Don't be doing that.
Look, I think all this will be forgotten, Barry, when the Auburn faithful roll in to Jordan-Hare on, let me check this, September the 6th, hosting Ball State, and they walk in and they just just go, isn't this just wonderful? Jordan-Hare Stadium at Pat Dye Field, and they look at that new $25 million TV screen in the north end zone and go, man, that's it. It's complete now.
From now on,
is the place.
From now on, we don't have to acknowledge that John Longshore was right, and what a tribulation and an absolute travesty against humanity that we had to turn back and look at that big $17 million jumbotron behind us that John kept saying was absolutely unconscionable to ask the fans to do.
And I would have never known that, Barry, till I had some people that have some boxes at Jordan-Hare. Their view was obstructed. I went, oh, really? Is it now? Tell me more.
So pen poised, piece of paper ready. Oh, you say you have to turn your head 45 degrees to check out that dance cam and the kiss cam you have. Oh, wow. And they still ask you to pay premium dollar for your seats?
Yeah. Do those windows open yet, or are you still enclosed all game? That's a whole nother subject, though.
Can't somebody wipe that smudge off the window where the eagle hit it? It's been years now.
My nephew was in that box the day he hit it. It scared the hell out of him. I said, I bet it did.
Why in the world was he not having his iPhone camera running? You talk about how internet famous that guy could be. It's unbelievable.
All right, so Bill here, I knew this was coming. Bill's hit me with the Coleman Coliseum card. How many times I got to go over this?
Oh, well, just about as many times as you mentioned that your cousin was in the booth at the Auburn game.
That was my nephew.
Okay.
Not my cousin, my nephew.
Okay, yeah, let's get that factually correct. Bill says, I know John is on board with it, but how about replacing that carnival house known as Coleman Coliseum?
Well, let me make this brief, because I know we've talked about this a lot. Coleman Coliseum is just for the fans. Nate Oates doesn't want a new venue. He said it publicly, said it on this program. They want NIL money. They got great locker room facilities, fitness facilities, nutrition centers, health facilities. They travel 5-star. They ain't taking buses and staying in budgetels and eating at Cracker Barrel. You know, they do it the right way. And the guys that aren't playing, they got the best seat in the house. I mean, can't ask for a better seat than right there. They're only there 40 minutes a week. So it's all about the fans. They're the ones complaining, well, Auburn's got a new arena. We need one too. Really? Do you? Do you really need one? Just because they have one? So
that's what they're saying.
But hey, been pretty deep in the tournament the last couple of years. You didn't need a new venue to do that. Now, would it be nice and fun and, oh, wow, we got a new venue? Yeah, I'm not going to, turn my nose up at it. But I'm not sitting awake at night staring at the ceiling going, when are they going to build a new arena? Just doesn't bother me that much. Other people, I think, bottom line, deep down, Auburn's got a newer arena and Alabama's doesn't. They don't have one. Built in 1966, and they're still playing in it today.
I don't detect any lies in that little diatribe. Not one. That's what it all comes down to. How can the Aubs afford one and we can't? Come on. I do know that people come in, opposing teams and opposing fan bases come in. Oh, the number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's see how we do against Nate Oates and the SEC champion Alabama Crimson Tide. And they get there and they pull in off of Paul Bryant Drive over to whatever they call it, Champions Lane or something like that. Yeah. And they're looking at it and they're going, that's it? That's it? It looks like a Marine hut.
Yeah, like an Army hangar.
No kidding. Where do they fly the helicopters into that thing?
Yeah.
It is a letdown for people who have never seen it.
And I think they're building a new practice facility or something. I mean, they're spending a ton of money on the men's basketball program. I think it's, practice facility, locker room facility, film study, whatever.
But, John, what about those reports that I had been hearing that they had allocated seed money to begin the construction of a brand new arena? Wasn't that something that the Board of Trustees approved and was ready to get going?
Well,
Yeah, but
I
then Saban
understand.
retired.
Yeah, I think the price of steel and concrete went up a lot, like doubled.
A lot.
So that was an issue. John, you're close, but saying perfection, that's a big word. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say perfection. There are a few warts. There are a few areas that need to be cleaned up, but I see your work in there. To me, Barry, I consider that financial responsibility. We don't need to go blow $250 million to build an arena just because those guys across the state have one. Let them do their little thing. They can put up $25 million TV sets and all that stuff, whatever. We got our little deal. Let them have theirs.
I know they got further in the NCAA tournament than we did, but that was just their circumstance. Let's take a break.
Yeah,
it's about 24. Well, we're already 36 minutes into our first live hour. We're just getting warmed up. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Ford announces employee pricing on every new 24 and most new 25 Fords, and only at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, up to $5,000 below employee pricing, plus no payments for 90 days. From America, for America, at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, home of America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 years in a row, the F-150, with hundreds to choose from. The Ford Escape, the Ford Edge, and the Ford Bronco, all priced at thousands below invoice. And pack up the crew in a Ford Expedition or a Ford Explorer for the beach, the lake, or the big game. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. Their licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946. All right, we got about 22 minutes to the top of the hour on this Monday. As Barry mentioned, Josh Harris, the Moneyline magician, at the top of the next hour. Of course, you can always check us out at yellowhammernews.com. Barry talked to some folks from Yellowhammer also with this event at Riverbank that I was at on Friday. And, man, really excited. Got a lot of big plans for the future. And certainly we were talking about our association with them and feelings mutual. I really love our partnership with those guys. Yep. You can check us out at yellowhammernews.com. You can check the show out. There's a write-up every afternoon about what we talked about. Of course, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, Spotify, we're all over that as well. And really appreciate those good folks at yellowhammernews.com. Make sure you subscribe.
They're running a series, and it's been really well done. I've been I look in on it every day at Yellowhammer News, particularly the series that you always kind of find right near the beginning all the time, what you should be talking about today in the state of Alabama. But they've been running a series of the top 50 most influential people in Alabama politics.
Yep.
And I've loved it. You know, I mean, a lot of them I don't know, but it's a really good write-up on each one of them. They give you 10 at a time per day. And I'm looking at a couple of those, and I'm thinking, I've heard of that guy. Yeah, I know that lady. I didn't realize they were, they were so highly thought of, this and that and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder how many of these guys John's like, oh yeah, like that guy. That guy, I don't know him. Huh? How do I not know him? This,
Yeah.
but anyway, it's really well written. It's all the latest news. It's delivered daily, yellowhammernews.com. Really proud to be associated with that group here on Longshore and McKnight.
Yep. Great folks. Great news source. Politics, business, faith and culture, sports. It's all there at yellowhammernews.com.
Can we go ahead and let you know now? Go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Today, Wednesday, I'm looking at Wednesday on my screen. Monday, May the 19th, the day in sports today.
The day in sports today.
Let's
hear it.
Nothing happening. Not a thing. So if you want John and I to give incisive commentary into, see what happens tonight, you really need to watch out for this. I'm just telling you. This is a horrendous day for sports. Ain't nothing going on. NBA playoffs are taking the day off. NHL playoffs taking the day off. Baseball tournaments don't start till tomorrow. There's a couple of MLB games today that just to have some. 3, 6, 8, 9. There's I think 11. 12.
Well,
This is as light of a sports day as we have had in the past 5 months. So,
hey, Kirk says college golf today. Yeah, Kirk, you're right about
that. Check that out. Golf Channel going on. So there
also,
is
you're
that.
going to see the final few holes of the Regions tradition. They're having to play this morning because of weather issues at Greystone yesterday. So several of the golfers will be heading out onto the course today. Angel Cabrera, Jerry Kelly.
Is he still alive?
He is still alive, yeah.
Gotta love a guy who sits there and he'll have like 11 or 12 stogies a day.
Oh, yeah.
Pounds a few light beers.
He spent a little time in the slammer.
Down in Argentina.
Yeah.
The Argentinian slammer ain't no joke, I hear.
No. Angel and Jerry Kelly are going to be playing the final few holes today. Several others that are in close to a contention, but some bad weather here. Angel played pretty well in rounds 2 and 3, shooting 67s to get him in a position to possibly win this event. But he was at Augusta back last month as well. He former champion. They let him come back, even though if you spent some time in jail and they let you come back to Augusta, even go to Champions Dinner. I know they don't look too favorable on it, but I guess maybe if you make the cut and you still peed in Ray's Creek, they're going to let you come back.
I thought that was like the point of no return. I mean, you can call the people at Augusta National a mob instead of the gallery. You can call them fans instead of patrons. You can say that the greens look like they were bikini waxed or something like that, and they'll let you come back. But man, you do some of that other stuff,
you got to be careful.
No, yeah.
Got to be careful. There's no doubt about that at all. So, that'll be coming on Golf Channel here in just a moment to see who wins it all there. That's the first major on the Champions Tour. What was it offensive to call it the Senior Tour? Why can't they call it the Senior Tour anymore?
I don't know.
Get it.
Because some of those guys weren't necessarily associated, with champions. Yeah.
Correct.
The Champions Tour. In the NCAA Men's Golf Championships, they begin this coming Friday. I don't know where we were talking about NCAA golf today. Maybe there is, but I know the NCAA tournament, the championships begin on Friday at the Omni La Costa Resort and Spa in Carlsbad, California. It goes from Friday the 23rd until Wednesday the 28th. And I know Auburn's in it.
Yeah.
Is Alabama in it? Alabama in the final 30? I don't see Alabama in it.
You know, Barry, I've been down on Jay Sewell lately. I mean, they're again, perfect example. Why should they build a new basketball arena? They built this Taj Mahal for the golf team. They doing anything with it?
Final 30? I mean, Auburn is in it. I spent Saturday morning, of course, there was baseball that afternoon that I had to do on ESPN Plus, but I spent Saturday morning at the Troy Golf Complex. Men's coach Clay Bounds and Troy senior Brantley Scott. Troy's in it. Troy is headed out to Carlsbad, California. Troy, they qualified out of the Urbana Regional in Illinois. Yeah. Troy is the first Sun Belt Conference team to make it for like 3 years. What's the deal here? There's tons of SEC schools. Georgia's in it, Ole Miss in it, Texas, Auburn, Florida, Texas A&M, blah, blah, blah.
One school you're not mentioning.
Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. No Alabama in this. But what's the deal? Augusta is in it? There's like a University of Augusta or Augusta State or something like that.
Augusta College.
I think that's where.
Matter of fact, Barry, that's where Jay Sewell came from, Augusta College to Alabama.
That's what I was going to lead up to, because we've interviewed Jay before, and I'm thinking he left Augusta College and they're still going to the NCAAs. He's at Alabama and they're sitting home watching.
If I was Jay, I'd be probably anticipating a call from Greg Gurn today.
Yeah.
Just to say, look, we built this place. What's going on out there?
This is Ann from. John could probably tell me the name of the secretary in the office, but this is Ann. Mr. Byrne would like to see you in his office at 3:30 this afternoon. Well, I have something at 3:30. 5-second pause. Mr. Byrne will see you at his office at 3:30. Yeah, okay. Yikes.
I don't know if they had some injury issues or a run of bad luck or what. I don't
know. Auburn is in it, looking to defend their national champion.
Yeah.
At national championship. All begins on Friday.
Somebody hits me with the new arena for basketball, I'm hitting you with the golf complex that they built out there.
Yeah,
I've not seen it yet. I've seen the flyover of it. It looks great. Looks awesome.
Bill from Baltimore and Kirk are correct. Patrick Reed went to Augusta State. Patrick Reed went there after he got kicked out of Georgia. Now, wait a minute, Bill.
Yeah,
he didn't get kicked out of Georgia. He was invited to leave, and he left of his own volition after a laptop. No, hang on. That was another school. Sorry.
Yeah, Bill, you got to be careful about how you phrase that. Now, there are columnists at USA Today.
Christine
Unless
Brennan.
They write that and say that so-and-so was kicked out of a particular school, that it's not worthy. She's got to write it. And she did. And as far as I know, nobody sued her for writing that.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that it was true. But others are telling me it's not. So I'm confused. I'm a little confused. Remember that in The Fugitive? Not The Fugitive. Why can't I not think of completely
hang on, give him a moment. He'll work it out. Watch this. If you see
why in the world have
give me a hint, maybe a name, maybe a scene.
Goodfellas. Goodfellas. What was I thinking about? I had a brain lapse. Yeah, when Joe Pesci goes, I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Do I make you like a clown? Do I amuse you? That whole scene was ad-libbed, by the way, and Ray Liotta had no idea what was going on, but he played it pretty well. We'll take a break right here. Coming up, in association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. But you know what?
What?
I don't necessarily feel like like a commercial right
now. Not right now, not this
No.
particular moment, not at this exact moment.
Yeah,
I thought we were just a hair early.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that caught my attention.
Right.
Tonight on the SEC network at 6 p.m.
Right.
There's something entitled All In. Similar to, I guess, what HBO does on training days or something, where they go through the preseason camps of a particular NFL team. Well, in reading the press release, All In is all about Alabama's spring practice of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I guess it's all access, similar to what the Fox Nation did a couple of months ago, having all access to last season. But it will debut on the SEC network tonight. And I'm thinking, what's up with all of this open door policy, all access type stuff with the Alabama football program? Do they need the exposure? I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt. You can take all you can get. Were no other schools interested in doing it?
Why would you? Number one, I have several why would yous.
Yeah.
Why would you allow it? I mean, in this day and age, they don't even have televised spring football games hardly anymore. Why? Because you're looking at a kid and thinking, hey, he could fit with us. Let's get in touch with him. Or, I didn't know this kid was that good. Now you're letting them into the locker room. We say, man, that coach chewed him out pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was giving that kid, man, he blistered that kid. Maybe he's not happy. Maybe we think we can get in touch with him. And number two, who in the world are the Goombas who are sitting there watching that going, look at that, honey. That's a locker room right there. You see it?
Yeah.
That's
I think you can answer that yourself.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
man, that over there. See that there? That there's a hot tub. That's where.
Barry. There used to be a thing
man,
after the spring game. People, not even after it. A day before, they would camp out in front of outside of Bryant-Denny to get a position in the line to get an autograph from Nick Saban and selected players. So those are the ones that are going to be watching this thing tonight.
The spring game. Longshore, back in the day, they used to have somebody up in the press box at Bryant-Denny for the spring game.
Yeah.
Up in the press box that would live stream it. And you'd have those big old beer-bellied boys over there from Double Springs in their overalls and their Crimson Tide shirts underneath there. And they'd be over there stretching the hammies and doing a couple of jumping jacks and everything. Longshore would be making book. Longshore would say, "Are you talking about that big woman over there with the Brody Croyle jersey? Okay, I'll give best I can do 8-1. Okay,
now,
all right, now we're talking about falling or stumbling in the 100 yards. If you're talking about, I'm talking about falling straight down, not stumbling
flat on her face.
Yeah,
flat on her face.
Okay, so I'll give you that. I'll give you got 20.
Yeah.
Why not make it 40? Okay, Longshore would make book on that. Girl would fall, all by herself. She'd fall to the 42-yard line with nothing. And Longshore would look at that guy, and the guy would go, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Easy. So the marketing and PR people will tell you, enough is never enough. You've always got to get your name out there. Use every type of creative marketing idea you can. You're trying to get in front of young people. You're trying to get the eyeballs of the younger demographic. You want them attracted to your program any way you can do it. Now, there again, I'm in an older demographic. I'm kind of old school. It's not something that would probably interest me. I got to think my 17-year-olds are going to be all over it. They're going to think this is cool and want to see what it's all about. And it's just a new day and age. NIL, transfers, video boards, piped in music, and all this type stuff that older people might not like or be interested in. But is it just because, would they be doing it if Nick Saban was still around? I don't know.
If they did, there'd have to be some heavy editing. What the tube are you doing running that route wrong again?
On Fox Nation, there was no editing, and they let you know that before every episode. Something about parental consent or something of that nature. They used to have to play a disclaimer before movies on HBO that had something kind of on that like that, but
this
it was not edited on Fox Nation. Now maybe on SEC it will be. Probably the league doesn't want that type stuff or let people know they actually talk like that. Really? Huh? I didn't know that. But how many behind the scenes, inside the locker room kind of documentaries can we watch? And I know what you're thinking. I mean, shouldn't Mississippi State get a little love? Arkansas, Kentucky.
They work just as hard. They lift just as many weights. Yeah. They have just as many coaches get on players. People don't want to see Mississippi State's indoor practice facility. Oh, it's because it's just being built. They don't want to see some, third team guy for a 2-10 team from Goshen, Mississippi.
I mean,
get yelled at. They want to see that guy. Oh man, they're giving him a hard time. Ooh, that guy ran for 170 against.
I thought the documentary about Pat Dye was excellent, but isn't it about time Auburn got a new one? I mean, shouldn't we be seeing what Hugh Freeze has done to turn this program around? I know the record doesn't look that great, but they've really gotten a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement, a lot of steam in the recruiting trails, and they've done well. The numbers bear that out. That, Freeze and this staff are doing well in recruiting. Year 3 supposed to be big. Jackson Arnold, transfer hotshot quarterback.
You can hear the insincerity dripping from his voice.
I think you've said smugness before.
John is saying, I wanted to know what went into the run-up to that 11 o'clock in the morning loss at Missouri. Somebody tell me. I want to know everything that happened to prepare the fabled Auburn Tigers football program for that 11:45 home kick that they lose by 10 to Vanderbilt in November.
Yeah, I don't really want to go back. Barry, that was then. We have turned the page, and the page got turned with the start of spring football 2025. And I believe this documentary tonight about Alabama is just about spring football. Look, I saw that 9-4 business on that Fox Nation deal, that trip to Norman, that embarrassing loss, that half-ass attempt at a tackle after a pick six. That's done. Moved on. So I think they should have focused on Auburn spring practice, the preparation for the 25 season under new quarterback Jackson Arnold. That's what I would have liked to have seen.
Let's try to take a break right here. On the other side, our Moneyline magician, Josh Harris, said scheduled to join us.
Yes, he is.
In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Marianne is with us at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Gosh, there's a lot of things going on at Marguerite's right now. Marianne, give us an example or two.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's crazy. Tons of things are going on. We've got graduations coming up, lots of different anniversaries. We've had tons of upgrades or people getting engaged. Of course, Marguerite's has an amazing selection of diamonds, loose and mounted. We've had some people wanting to come in and needing to get engaged on the spot almost. And guess what? We have an in-stock jeweler, so we can make that happen for them.
How has Earring Fest gone? I can imagine that it has been spectacular, Marianne.
Yes, Earring Fest is great. We have tons of selections, more than honestly we've ever had before. Dangles, hoops, studs, you name it, we've got it.
What about for the graduate? A lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of people are graduating or are about to graduate. What's the go-to? What's been the most popular graduation gift?
Well, go-tos, of course, I'm thinking maybe the baby cross. It's beautiful. It's small. I have it. And a lot of people get turned off. They're like, baby, no, this is like for a graduate. But it's just a smaller cross, delicate, something you can have forever, as well as solitaires. Diamond by the yards are great because it's a wonderful layering piece, something that they could wear through sorority recruitment if they're going to do that. And we also have lots of strands of pearls, a classic gift that they can wear in graduation or any of the senior pictures. And watches and cufflinks for guys. We have those in stock, and they're wonderful pieces instead of just, giving them a Dillard's or Visa gift card. Makes it special.
One more question I've got about it. What about those people who at this time of the year, they really like to get into their jewelry boxes or look in the back of the drawers? It's time to do maybe some late spring cleaning. Right. Can they trade up some of those jewels?
Of course, yes. There's no reason for jewelry to collect dust, especially if Marguerite's is right around the corner or within driving distance. You just load it up. It doesn't matter if you're not sure if it's costume or not. Bring it in. We can test it for you. There's absolutely no charge to that. And then we'll give you an amount that we can write you a check for, or you get times and a half if you want to trade those items in and get something new, or we can always renovate those pieces and make a custom piece like we did for your sweet wife. Yeah. And so it'll be a piece that they could wear and always treasure.
You can always tell how much it means to Marianne to be able to help, because she helped with that piece for my wife 3 or 4 years ago, and she still takes pride in it. So does Marianne. Anytime she gets a chance to help. Marianne, you mentioned that it's very conveniently located, Pepper Tree Center next to Chappie's Deli on Vaughn Road, and the hours are convenient as well.
Definitely. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Gosh, go by Marguerite's. No reason not to let them help you with the wonderful gift-giving opportunities everybody has in their life. Go to Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Thanks, Marianne.
Thanks.
Okay, back at it a couple of minutes past the top of the hour number 2 on this Monday with Longshore and McKnight. Our man Josh Harris, the Moneyline magician, is going to join us here momentarily. Well, probably some important business conference call across international lines that he's on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because he's a producer, kind of like he helps produce things for the American economy, unlike evidently what John says about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Anthony Edwards or Tyrese Halliburton or Jalen Brunson in the ho-hum NBA conference finals or something like that. Later on as well, I'm going to go ahead and I have full confidence in this, in the fabled Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Yep.
My favorite part of the PGA Championship out at Quail Hollow.
Beautiful golf course. Looks great on TV. Never seen it in person, but man, it looks great on TV.
Friday. And if he doesn't have it for the Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel, I understand. But this was on Friday. Mm-hmm. The longest hole-in-one in major championship history. Si-Woo Kim. Yes, sir. Old Si-Woo himself. Si-Woo Kim aced the 252-yard sixth hole at Quail Hollow.
Think about that. 252. Now, it is slightly downhill. I will give them that. I was watching them on Saturday, Barry. They'd actually moved the tees up to 227 that day. Yeah. And I believe it was Scheffler hits a 5-iron. I'm thinking 227?
Yes.
5-iron, I get it. It's slightly downhill, but I'm thinking, man, these guys, and I get it. They've kind of, maybe bent the faces a little bit to make them a little stronger, but yeah, these guys can motor it. Now, I see our man Josh Harris. Is he at Hartsfield International as he's walking down the concourse here? Let's see if we can bring Josh on the screen this morning. Josh, where might you be today?
Hartsfield Jackson International Airport, the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I bet we cannot get the entire segment without there being a Auntie Annie's pretzel somewhere behind you at some point during this whole thing, for sure.
It's been 24 hours, so I just walked by a Longhorn Steakhouse and saw people eating breakfast. I was just like, huh.
At
They got it all.
Yeah.
Hey,
They got it all here.
If you go to Concourse B, you can have breakfast at a PF Chang's. I've actually had breakfast there before, believe it or not. Yeah.
Maybe
Now-
I'll go there.
Now, I'm a little disappointed, Josh. I thought you'd be joining us from like the Sky Club or something today, big roller like you are there, the Moneyline magician. Did they revoke your membership? What happened there?
I'm boarding. I'm boarding in 5-10 minutes. So
Okay.
so we I did not make the same mistake of what I did sometimes, which is I have missed a flight in the Sky Club before.
Yeah.
But
I imagine that has happened.
It's not alcohol related. I guess I just got distracted. It's just ADD related.
So if we got 5 minutes with you, let's hurry up and get to the high points. It's been a long time since we've seen a PGA golfer hotter than Scotty Scheffler. Did you get to check out any of the PGA championships over the weekend, Josh?
Oh yeah, Scotty is. I saw him compared to Tim Duncan. It was like he just slowly just grinds away at you. He's not flashy. He's Tim Duncan of golf. He's just a champion.
Shaquille O'Neal called Tim Duncan the big fundamental. I get what you're saying, because that's Scotty, right?
Yeah. He's not Bryson out there just whacking it away, or he's not like crazy at putting. He's just really good at everything. What I want to see from Scotty is that, can he continue this? Because you see a lot of these young guys like JT started off hot as his career.
Yeah.
And let's see, can you continue it? Because if he continues this, like he can outdo Tiger if he can continue. We've seen a lot of these hot young golfers, but can you sustain like Tiger did? I don't know.
Do you have the drive and the willpower to keep grinding to win those majors and to be as relevant as long as Tiger is Jack, people like that? I get it. I'm with you there. Also over at the Regions Tradition, we mentioned it earlier, they're going into a play, or actually they're finishing up this morning, but certainly a big tournament there on the Champions Tour. So a lot of good golf action over the weekend. But in terms of Auburn and Alabama, now we're back into baseball. And, of course, the Tide and the Tigers will be in Hoover beginning tomorrow. I don't think Auburn plays till later in the week, if I'm not mistaken. But Alabama does play tomorrow in the SEC baseball tournament.
Sorry, I lost you for a minute. You were saying
SEC baseball tournament. Any thoughts about that coming up in Hoover?
I don't generally pay too much attention to college baseball, but I have been paying attention to LeBron. I watch. I keep hearing. Well, I tell you, I do those sports cards.
Yeah,
sports card selling, and he's like, for next year's class. Everyone's freaking out about him. Just one, because he's very good.
Yeah.
But also he's highly collectible. His name's LeBron. So
Yeah.
people are going all after him.
He's talking about Alabama shortstop Justin LeBron, who is a sophomore. He's about he's a shortstop. He's about 6'3". Josh, he looks like he weighs about $170. And he had like 18 homers this year. It doesn't seem to add up. But that kid, I've called his games twice this year on TV. That kid's special. He's going to make a lot of money at this game.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh,
he's also, the girls love him because he's handsome and all this kind of stuff as well. So, yeah.
So
he's highly marketable.
Yeah, get one of his. I got to check this guy out. I wasn't familiar with him. I'm like
Justin LeBron.
Yeah, he's supposed to be him.
Well, with the tournament starting up, I think it could be very, very interesting.
All right, John.
Where you heading, John?
Was Daly playing in the regions?
What withdrew? WD.
Well, you know what? That's nothing wrong with that. That's John Daly style, isn't it? Especially at this age.
Yeah, it is.
I remember we followed him around at the regions. I think it was 7-8 years ago, and he was on 18. And he wasn't in contention, but he holes out on 18 for eagle. Everybody throws their beers in the air. He immediately pulls out a cigarette, points to the clubhouse. I think it was at Shoal, maybe. And he points up there and said, held up 2 fingers, like 2 shots and a round for the bar. And I was like, this is one of the greatest sporting. I've seen Tiger Woods play Rory at match play in Austin. This was better.
Wow.
No wonder he's a man of the people.
Yeah.
Daly holding it out from the fairway for an eagle on 18. That's awesome. Hey,
Well,
Josh, where are you heading today? Where are your travels taking you?
Fun Tampa.
Yeah.
Big senior living conference.
Yes,
there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah. Appreciate you being with us, man. Safe travels. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. See y'all.
Take care.
Thanks, man. From Hartsfield Jackson International Airport. I noticed he was in Concourse C. I hope he's not flying Frontier. I saw the Frontier logo up there. Ooh.
Well, honestly, I mean, you're among friends.
Yep.
Has it ever happened when you've been at the Sky Club or whatever, and yucking it up, taking another sip, all of a sudden you look at your watch and you go, oh, hey, whoa, does time seem to creep up on you?
That's an interesting question. I'm very afraid to miss my flight.
Oh yeah, I'm a time watcher,
and I had that happen once before, and I was watching a football game, and I thought, oh, we got plenty of time. We're in no hurry. And what I did not factor in, I was in D.C. This was years and years ago. I was in D.C. and my flight was leaving from Dulles. And so we get to the airport, whatnot. What I did not factor in is at Dulles, you get on a tram and they take you to the plane on a tram. You don't go through a jet bridge from the terminal like you do at most airports. It's a little different setup at Dulles.
Right.
And the tram had already left. The last one had already departed. There was no way for me to get onto the plane. So I missed it there again. This was probably 30 years ago. And I said, I'll never let that happen again. So I'm usually pretty aware of when we're scheduled to leave. So I usually, get that last round and take care of business and then head to the gate.
I was telling Jack, Jack's my son. They were here this weekend, which is why I'm still trying to get everything set up back again. The grandkids were here and they spent the night in this room. I was talking to Jack about that kind of thing. And, I've done this. Jack's a law enforcement officer. And I've done this before. You can kind of go down the rabbit hole a lot of times on social media. Like every once in a while, I'll get on Instagram and they use the algorithm to determine what I like watching. And they'll put suggestions up there. Jack's again, he's a law enforcement officer. So they'll give you like this channel to look at of people getting pulled over and their live cam versus the police officer's live cam. And they're all about, I'm a sovereign citizen. I wasn't driving. I was traveling. I was conducting interstate commerce. Therefore, I do not have to have my driver's license. And, driver's license, just give me your driver's license and your proof of registration. Well, what's the reason for this call? Because the Constitution states that, you have to have done. And the Constitution didn't say anything about pulling somebody and all this kind of, and it gets a little bit frustrating. And I told Jack, I said, I got to stop. I had to stop doing that stuff because, people are idiots, right? A lot of times. And you see the worst of people on that kind of stuff. John, one of the worst ones you'll see is they've got Instagram channels where you can look at people who have missed their flight, especially people who are there before the flight takes off.
Oh, yeah.
But after boarding, right? And once they close that, John knows this, once they close that door, and I'm not talking about the door to the plane, I'm talking about the door to the jetway. Once that baby is closed,
done.
You you have no prayer of getting on. Well, no, my grandfather is dead. He ain't dead. They just say that to try to get on the plane, and you can't board the plane, but it's right there. Yep, we gave you 4 different warnings that you needed to be there, and you didn't show up, and and this and that and all that. You also have those people who are on the plane that are obviously inebriated that won't get off, and so they have to deplane the whole plane.
Yes.
Because one girl knows her rights, and I paid for this seat. Well, ma'am, you have to get off. Well, what's the reason? Well, you're a private company. They don't have to have. It's unbelievable sometimes.
When the lady at the gate makes like the 5th announcement that this is the final call for flight 1272 to Tampa St. Pete, final call means no more. You better be on the plane. It's it. Get on it. So just don't. Yeah, people that want to argue with airline people, just go into the airport knowing, I got to play their game, and here are the rules.
This is their turn.
Yep, I need to follow these rules, and everything's going to be fine. Trying to be Joe Badass on the plane and act like you're not getting off, or you don't like this guy because he's got a MAGA hat on or whatever. I don't need that. I'm just trying to get to where I want to be, and I don't need any excitement.
Well, that's like, Josh Harris, who was just on with us, is no longer connected, but he's still watching. He says, happened to me and my dad on the way back from Penn State in Happy Valley. I threw a temper tantrum. Hey,
Well, did Bama lose the game? I mean, you might have
that might have been, the John Hand block game or something like that. Yeah.
So now, Josh, I was coming back from the Clemson game in Santa Clara. You could have heard a pin drop on that plane. Nobody said a word.
Bad experience for Bama fans.
I think that one did me in, Barry, because I flew out and flew back on the same day. Flew all the way to California, went to the game, flew all the way back right afterwards, and actually made it back in time to hit the radio show with about 30 minutes to spare. How about that? I remember doing that. Came back, talked it all out on the air after that embarrassing loss.
Our buddies over at Total Sports Travel, they will do everything for you. Yes. I mean, that is the only way to go. A charter from Total Sports Travel. I'll never do anything else. They cannot guarantee a win, though.
They cannot.
They can do so much to make the traveling experience an absolute breeze. They can't guarantee a win. They can't guarantee a cover. So, you've got to
and they, of course, have got packages already in place for this fall. If you want to travel with your team and cheer them on to victory, Total Sports Travel has got packages available for a lot of these great away games for Auburn, Alabama, just about every school in the SEC, Troy Trojans as well, so they can handle all your travel needs. Just check it out at TotalSportsTravel.com.
One more quick comment from our, two, okay, here. This one from our buddy Tobias.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about missing your flight if you fly Montgomery Regional Airport, There
you have it, Tobias.
We appreciate that. And our buddy Josh, one last little bit. He says Montgomery Regional Airport, the people have spoken. Montgomery Regional Airport is elite. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you so much.
We'll come back. Gosh, we've still got so much that we have to touch upon.
Chris the Bammer tried to expose our playbook for today. He hit a couple of topics, but we got a lot more we're talking about today.
Coming up, the Phantom's Daily Dog and Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel still to come on this Monday edition of the live show in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. All right, back at it, 21 minutes past the hour on this Monday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Okay, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way.
Here we go. All right.
Things got a little sticky with the NBA semifinals, conference semifinal action. Friday night was certainly no exception. We just went ahead and took Boston, catching the points at the Knicks. Don't want to say that we weren't super overly confident about it, because we are with every pick we make. But this one was over early. This was the good thing about this one, Barry. You didn't have to watch the whole game. You knew early, this one's done.
It's funny because in the conference semifinals and really the entire playoffs, John and I had said before over and over again, man, this is great. You know, everything's been really close, been really competitive, especially in the conference semifinal series. It was a great one between the Knicks and the Celtics. But the Celtics, okay, they lose by 38 in New York on Friday. And, of course, the Nuggets, their series against the Thunder, that was a blowout yesterday. But, yeah, it's true. It's true. The Phantom took the Celtics. And what was it, 2.5?
Yeah.
And they end up losing by 38 in the fourth quarter. In the third quarter, really at halftime, you knew that it just wasn't going to go your way. So you move on, see what else is going on.
That's right.
You don't hang in till the bitter end, believe me.
Sometimes things like that do happen. They do.
Yeah.
But I think we've hit 11 out of the last 14, so we'll hang our hat on that and move on.
Good with that.
We'll get back. We'll say this, Barry. We're going to get back into the NBA in terms of a handicapping element tomorrow. So you're thinking, whoa, wow, wait a minute. Where are we going today? WNBA? I did see where Jay Barker's daughter had her debut with the LA Sparks, or whatever the name of that team is.
The Sparks, good for you.
Yeah. She had a little playing time. First round pick for the LA Sparks. I had watched 1 second of WNBA in my entire life.
Good for you to at least acknowledge that it happened anyway.
I just saw some article about it. No, we are not going WNBA. We're going UFL. Well, there's no UFL games tonight. But,
by the way, Sarah Ashley Barker. Last night, Jay Barker's daughter made her debut. Well, no, it wasn't her debut. This is her second game. And yesterday against the Lynx, I can't tell you where the Lynx are from. 24 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 personal fouls.
There you go. Nice. Is it a 6 foul in the WNBA as well?
Look, if I'm telling you I don't know where the Lynx are you dadgum right. Oh, it's the Minnesota Lynx.
Okay.
You know I don't know how many limits there are on fouls in the WNBA.
I was hoping you were going to look that up, because
I love women's basketball. Have not been able to get into the WNBA.
I hadn't either, and neither has anybody else. And it's a financial drain, and the NBA is subsidizing it. But hey, so what? Well, who cares? They got plenty of money, I guess.
Well, we're not going to the WNBA today.
No, I'm not going to the UFL. They don't have a game. Barry, I'm going Major League Baseball today at 5:45. You're gonna have to help me out with these pitchers. We got
Boston Red Sox.
Yeah,
This is a good one.
Yeah, taking on the New York Mets, who I believe are leading the Eastern Division of the National League.
They are.
Yeah. So Dobbins is on the mound for the Red Sox tonight.
That's Hunter Dobbins. For the Red Sox. Hunter Dobbins, who is 2-1.
Taking on is that Senga?
Kodai Senga.
Yeah, come on.
Who is 4-2 for the New York Mets. Kodai Senga.
Already had 6 starts already. That arm's getting a little sore. 6 starts. It's an early season. This guy might not make it to the 4th inning. Already pitched 6 games already.
Yeah.
The Mets are laying 150 in this game. I'm seeing as low as minus 139, as high as 150. It opened at 142, but the Red Sox are plus 120. It opened up. I'm seeing it as high as 125 at BetMGM, as low as 118. So I'm grabbing the plus 125, Barry, and taking Boston at home as an underdog.
I like it.
Buck 25. You put up $100, you're going to win 125 with my man Dobbins on the mound tonight for the Red Sox. The Red Sox did have kind of was it a complete embarrassment over the weekend? They were able to salvage one win.
One game.
Weekend. So I do like that fact that they did not completely get blown out or swept by an average team at best. More on that in a moment. One with the Red Sox and Dobbins on the hill at plus 125 tonight. Take the home team dog in the Boston Red Sox. 5:45 first pitch. Remember that early pitch today.
And it's the first game of a 3-game series in Boston at Fenway Park. As we mentioned, it is a very light competitive day in the sports world. Are they just about done with the senior event up in
it's a good question.
Wrapped up? There's no NBA tonight. There's no NHL playoffs tonight. Has the Phantom played an NHL game in his
this year?
Phantom's Daily Dog? Yeah.
Not. I need to get on I need to drop the puck and maybe look at some NHL action later on.
It is a 12-game schedule in the major leagues, including the Phantoms pick for the Phantoms Daily Dog tonight at Fenway. The Braves do not play today.
Oh, lucky me.
Yeah, but 2 bits of good news for the Atlanta Braves. Number one, they did beat the Red Sox yesterday rather badly. Once again, Spencer Schwellenbach. This is in Boston. Atlanta 10, Boston 4. Braves pounded out 10 hits. That's 1 bit of good news. 2 more bits of good news for Atlanta Braves fans.
Just keeps
they
coming.
are over 500.
Yeah,
that win gets Atlanta to 24-23. After an 0-7 start, the Braves are back on the winning side. They're 24-23. And 5 games behind the Mets. So Braves fans, you want the Red Sox to win that game.
Well, let's don't get too giddy here because once again, the 2 teams below them are terrible, Washington and Miami, who they feasted on already this year.
That's the other bit of good news for Braves fans. They open up a series at Washington tomorrow night.
Yeah, sure they do. Probably got 3 or 4 more series with them before the All-Star break. Heck yeah. Miami mixed them in as well. They're probably heading back out to Denver, up to Pittsburgh. Yeah. All these crappy teams. When are the Dodgers and the Padres getting back into the rotation? That's what I want to see. Maybe play the Mets
These still count,
a little bit
though.
more.
Yeah. Oh, I know they do. They're
just like Mal says. Mal says, "Hey, we're over 500."
Yep.
There are 18 teams over 500 in Major League Baseball.
Thank you, Mal.
Four of the 5 teams in the National League West are over 500. Yeah, but did any of them start 0-7 and get left for dead? Daniel says the Braves choked this weekend. Atlanta should have swept the Red Sox in Boston, which is true. That is not incorrect.
Mal is the reality broker here. He's telling you he's spreading reality here today, you Braves fans. Is Robbie from Greenville chimed in on this great accomplishment of getting over 500? Robbie, you up today? What's up? What's going on?
It was the big weekend in Major League Baseball, the rivalry weekends, the Braves and the Mets and the Yankees, the White Sox and Cubs, Detroit and Toronto, not that far apart, Tampa Bay, Miami, Battle of Florida, Atlanta, Boston. Boston used to be the home for the Braves and everything. And the Braves are over 500. Just watch out. They're lurking. They're hanging around. People had given them up for dead. But they are not going anywhere. So,
I really feel bad for all 4 of you Braves fans out there, because you get excited, you start looking at over 500 and sweeping some tomato can, whatever, and then those playoffs roll around. Same old thing happens every now and then.
We've asked John.
We have lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, and the Braves win the World Series. Doesn't happen very often.
We've asked John before to make a value judgment, whether it's baseball or any sport. Which would you rather? I love playing Which Would You Rather. Which would you rather? Kate Upton. Which would you rather? Make the playoffs every year and fall short, and every once in a while win a World Series? Or just end the agony early and just not even make the playoffs. Just have a losing record every year and save your fans the angst and anxiety and heartbreak. John says, look, if you're not going to win it, I don't care if you're national champion runner-up or Final Four participant, or you made it into the second round of the Major League Baseball playoffs. You've got it separated into 2 things: the champions and everybody else in his eyes.
2 months removed, top of your head, who was in the Final Four 2 months ago? People out there going, Final Four. Geez, who was in the Final Four? Wow. Yeah, if you're not winning at all, so what? I mean, it's nice to make the playoff. I guess you can kind of, hey, we made the playoffs. Hey, we made the Final Four. But if you don't win it, so what? Now, some programs out there, that might be enough. Hey, we made the playoffs. We made the Final Four. We're one of the 12 teams.
Yeah.
Some programs relish that. Some people really, have parades and get all worked up and T-shirts and video clips and whatever. Others, we fell short. Hey, you made the playoff. No, not good enough.
This is one reason why those fans who actually feel that way are generally unhappy.
Yeah.
We didn't win everything. Out comes the lower lip. Here comes the chap of the derriere. Well, we need to fire that guy or that gal. If we ain't winning at all, then I don't even know why we even played. Why did we even participate, and why did we give scholarships to them if there are other teams out there that are better than us? That's just generally
maybe it's unfair,
anti-humanistic, and
maybe it's undue pressure. I don't know. Just the way that I have observed, there is a fan base out there. No, it doesn't matter that their head football coach is entering his 2nd season. They're expecting to win it all. And if they fall short, not going to be very happy.
No,
if they don't make the playoff, they're going to be extremely unhappy.
And if they happen to, mess their pants, I've used that twice today, mess their
Which is
pants.
not really what he wants to use.
No, it didn't. People sometimes refer to it as doing it in the bed as well, mess the bed. But if they lose a game like they did in Norman or in Nashville last season, whoa.
But still, this is despite two things. Number one, those fans have the most successful program in the history of the world, and it's not because of their expectations. Number two, they have had a head football coach that in 17 years won, I think, 6 national championships and made the fans all happy and made them proud of themselves and gave them a sense of self-worth that they didn't earn themselves. And yet again, despite him giving them the championships and them taking pride in, well, we have the process right here, they still don't listen to him, and they still don't believe in the gospel that it is not the end result you're after. It's being willing to pay the price in the process to get to those points, to put you. I don't care about the process. I don't care about us working hard and all that kind of stuff. If we don't win the Natty, then it's a losing season. Despite your coach telling you that, man, if you focus totally on the end result, then you lose focus on what it takes to get to the end result. They don't want to hear that. They just want championship.
They just want championship. There again, I've used this before. I mean, that's Charlie Brown's teacher talking. They don't want to hear that.
No, they don't. True statement. Yeah,
they just don't know, and it isn't fair. I'll be the first to tell you. It is not fair. It really isn't.
But like John loves to say, it is the real world.
The real world. Dennis Mitchell's in. He's chimed in. The Bears are going to end up in Arlington Heights. Really? Okay. I didn't know that. Well,
not only did I not know they were going into Arlington Heights, I don't even know where Arlington Heights is.
Where are the Bears now?
They're at Soldier Field, which is on the north side, which is right on Lake Michigan. I mean, it's right next to Grant Park.
Yeah, could be a little
cold. My sister used to live in Chicago for like 15 years, right on Grant Park, which two things. It feels like they built out some silt or some dirt or anything just to get Soldier Field out there on Lake Michigan. Mm-hmm. So number one, it is difficult to get to. You can only come to Soldier Field from the south, from the east, from the west. You can't come from the north. So it's always difficult to
unless
get in
you come by boat.
Unless, which they do in Knoxville.
Yep.
And number two, when the wind blows in from Lake Michigan, it makes it miserable inside of Soldier Field. So
they call that lake effect winds.
And lake effect snow too. I mean, if it snows anywhere on Lake Michigan, you're going to get it at Soldier Field. So
is lake effect,
that thing's about 120 years
is
old.
that a weather term like in the winter it's colder because of
wind chill?
Wind chill factor. Yeah. And in the summer,
heat index.
Heat index. Yeah. All these weather terms.
Tell me how cold it is or how hot it is. Don't tell me the heat index should reach 118 miles an hour. What is it? That means it feels that hot. I never have been able to get warm since they came up with the wind chill. Man, it feels like 12. It doesn't really. I mean, it says it's 31.
I don't know.
Yeah,
not believing that. So the Kansas City Royals are moving to Clay County, Missouri. How does Dennis know all this stuff?
Dennis gets around. Some of it may be Google. I don't know. Google now is just the high-tech answer to that shoe shine guy in police. Not police academy,
squad.
Police squad. Where Leslie Nielsen wanted to know what's going on the street, so he'd ask that guy, and then Tommy Lasorda would be on the next one over and said, "Hey, should we pitch Fernando this week, or should we still stick with Rick Roden?" Or Fernando's arm is tired. Give him a start off, and then that used to be great stuff. So Dennis is that guy.
Yeah.
Dennis is that guy, and
That's
Dennis, of course, he says, "Hey, right, knowledge is power."
Boom, mic drop.
There you go.
There you go. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but obviously no wrestlers passed away over the weekend because Dennis has not mentioned that here on the program today.
Maybe he's just spacing them out. When we come back, it's Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. About 18 minutes to the top of the hour. Want to make sure that Robbie from Greenville has plenty of advance warning. Want him to make sure, so he's got all of his pens and pencils and his paper pad ready to go.
Yeah.
Because this Friday has been a tradition for many a year. The Friday of Memorial Day weekend, it is the where I was right, where I was wrong. And we will go over the predictions that I made 12 months ago. And yes, maybe there are some predictions that I made that I've got to pose my case to the jury, if you will, and try to convince them.
That means listen to the excuses.
To, come on. Now, I was pretty close here.
This is usually the circumstances around the statement or the question. Come on, are Bill and Hillary really still married, like in the eyes of their vows and all of that?
Exactly. So we'll recap the predictions from 12 months ago.
Yeah. And
then there will be a list of predictions for the following 12 months, the next 12 months. And go ahead and give you those so you can mark them down, which Robbie does. He has come back and questioned me on some of those predictions.
John, I don't think that you said something about, so I was like, I did. But I didn't pose it in the way that you said I posed it or something like that.
So they are mainly 90% sports related, but there are some, current situations that are going on in our world that we might predict as well. Like there again, I don't think anybody, here's a perfect example. If someone can prove to me that Bill and Hillary are, in fact, legally married right now, I'd like to see it. I don't think
he's got his doubts.
I've got my doubts. That prediction was made 15 years ago.
Yeah, back when he was just leaving office, and so was she.
Now, have some of them I just flat out missed? Certainly. Sure. No doubt. Yeah.
Now,
I completely whiffed on a few.
Bill is 78 years old.
Yeah.
But that don't mean anything, as history tells us, in terms of...
How old was that intern?
20-something?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They've been married since... We've been married for 50 years.
Yeah.
John says, have they, though?
Mm-hmm. Really? Have they? I don't know.
So married?
Get ready. Robbie, got to get up early on Friday, letting you know in plenty of time. Yeah. Was that a brush with greatness? Did I mention that?
No, but yeah. Theotis loves the brush with greatness shows that we use.
And I'm on a dry spell, Theotis. I have not seen anybody or bumped into anybody famous. And I know that there's a wide net there. Really? Are they famous?
Yeah.
I mean, like Bert from Bert's Chili at Waffle House. I met that guy.
He's got his name on millions of menus around the world. Is that a brush with greatness? We ended up having to tone down our brush with greatness show, Theotis, because of that. Wait a minute. You ran into Donnie Most, the guy who played Ralph Malph on Happy Days? Is that greatness? I mean, maybe Potsy.
Yeah.
But Ralph Malph, I don't know. And then it ended up being over and over and over again. I met Bear Bryant here. I met Bear Bryant there. Bear Bryant and my father once, rotated his tires or something like that. So
now I know TV names can be a little unusual, but is there anybody on this planet named Malph? M-A-L-F.
Ralph Malph? No, Malph. I can't. I can't say.
Who's got a last name Malph? M-A-L-H.
Yeah.
Nobody has that name.
Never knew anybody named Squiggy.
No.
Never knew of it. Mm-hmm. I do remember that song by Lenny and the Squigtones.
Yeah.
That was in Laverne and Shirley called Night After Night. That Lenny and the Squigtones did, but that was a blatant takeoff over Zig and the Zigtones.
Sure it was.
So
Mrs. Cunningham, called Potsy by his real name. What was it?
Warren. Warren Potsy Weber. His real name, the actor's name was Anson Williams, because every once in a while they'd let him sing on there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Warren, and he didn't like that as much, but she called him Warren.
Yeah.
Yes. But do we know how he got his name Potsy?
I do not. They may have said something on Happy Days.
Yep.
Couldn't tell.
Do you remember one of the recurring characters in the earlier episodes named Bag? B-A-G? He was kind of a short, stumpy guy. They called him Bag.
No.
You might have to Google that. Cast of Happy Days. Look up Bag.
I remember Sticks. No, Sticks. And Myron. No, Spike, whose real name was Myron. And Pinky Tuscadero.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
there was a character named Bag. There sure was. Yeah. As there was Chuck Cunningham, Richie's older brother.
Yeah, who nobody ever paid attention to after that first year. He was done, gone. Nobody ever said, is he dead? Is he, through college? Whatever happened to Chuck?
They never
Richie was the middle child.
Yeah, never even referenced Chuck after the first season. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, Gurn, let's see the Victoryland 777 topic wheel is loaded
Ag
up.
Zombrowski was a minor recurring character who appeared in 7 episodes in Happy Days in seasons 1 and see. How in the world do you remember Bag Zombrowski?
I did not know his last name, But I remember his first name was Bag.
Played by Neil Schwartz.
I mean, what kind of nickname is Bag? I don't know.
There's some people out there who made a bit of a living in college.
Sure. Yeah, it was called Dime Bags, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, Gurn's got it locked and loaded. It's the
Here we
Victoryland
go.
777 topic, Will. You can be a winner too. Exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, and it is going to land on late comeback. Oh, yeah. How about this?
Did they even have the Preakness over the weekend? Oh, I am.
Let's see. Journalism wins. Uh-oh. Look at this.
Oh, watch this.
A lot of crowding.
Watch this. It ain't over. It ain't. Check it out. Here we go. Here we go. That horse on the right is fucking wind. Oh.
Man.
For the first time in 50 years, journalism has actually made money.
Yeah, really. No kidding.
Oh,
good point. Yeah, that was a good one. The jockey in the aqua helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta whip that horse a little harder, my man.
See the other one, the I can't all of a sudden draw a blank. The horse that won the Kentucky Derby that didn't race in the Preakness, they fined the jockey for whipping that horse too much.
Huh.
They fined him. So anyway, there's that.
Hey, you can see the
journalism ran down Gosner at the post. They headed into the final stretch, trailing by 5 lengths, but Gosner was
yeah, man,
yeah.
What a comeback! You think the horses know where the finish line is?
No, the horses are just running. They're thinking, man, I better get a big oat bag out of all this. The horses act like Jerry Seinfeld once said. The horse, after it's over, he's like, I was just here.
Yeah,
I was here just like 4 minutes ago. What's the point? So anyway, let's go back to the.
Let's do
Gurn
it. Let's
Jr.
spin
Victoryland
the wheel. 4 more
topic.
topics left. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. You can be a winner too. And it's first in 15 or first and 15. Let's see. Nope.
Yeah. How about this? In that big series, as we mentioned, the whole weekend has been in the major leagues. It's been rivalry weekend. Angels, Dodgers. Dodgers were riding high, Mal, in the NL West, Mal, until they played the lowly Los Angeles Angels, who were 8 games under 500. Angels sweep the Dodgers for the first time in 15 years, hence the name of the topic on Gurn Jr.'s 777 topic wheel.
That's tough. Man.
Dodgers get swept by the lowly Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That is tough, Barry. That's pretty tough. I got to admit.
Mal, there's no way, no reason for that to have happened, Mal.
That's a tough one. That's really tough.
Maybe the Dodgers are mortal after all, Mal. Maybe the Dodgers, and I love the Dodgers. I'm a big Dodgers fan, but maybe they're not all that in a bag of chips like everybody seems to think. I don't know.
Don't fall for it, Mal. Look, we're in May, middle of May.
Do we need a break or can we keep going? I think we need a break.
I mean, middle of May. Give me a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. Okay, back at it here, about 5 minutes to the top of the hour. 3 more topics to go. Let's spin the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. And it's going to land on, exclusive.
Here, now you're talking. Yep.
All right. Okay, what do we got?
Exclusive list, Shohei Ohtani, best player in the world right now.
16 home run.
Yep.
Oh, look at this.
Yep. This is good stuff. This is a good get from Gurn.
Ooh, man. That's a pretty 16
plus homers and 10 plus stolen bases through 43 games in the wild card era. Shohei's done it. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s done it. Raul Mondesi and Barry Bonds has done it.
Was Barry Bonds known as a base stealer?
Before he took steroids and got huge and his head looked like, one of the moons of Jupiter, he was 185 pounds, could hit the baseball, steal bases for you and all that. Barry Bonds
just couldn't throw anybody out from left field.
He is a terrific defensive outfielder. He may have been the best baseball player of our generation, even before he started taking steroids and got up to about 240 and couldn't get it done. So, on the base pass.
Barry, if Sid Bream could outrun a throw from Barry Bonds, come on.
The ball got to him late. Plus Bream was okay. He was pretty slow. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good one. Yeah. Shohei.
Mal, I get it. You're exactly right, Mal. Throw these guys some crumbs, whatever. Middle of May. Yeah. So what? Yeah.
No sweat. Dodgers just go through the motions until October. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Let's see if we can grab a couple.
Yeah, let's do 2 more. We got 2 more left. Spinner, Gurn. Let's see what we got. Blue and green are the color combinations, and it's going to land on
strong
finish.
All right. And what have we got?
I had a feeling. Yep. I mentioned this guy. This is
what's this all about? Former Alabama golfer quits trying to hit the ball straight.
Yeah. Come on. Play to your strengths. Davis Riley. Don't you like? Doesn't that sound like a golfer's name, Barry? Davis Riley.
Is he related to the former governor? I don't know. Davis Riley finishes. He was 4 shots behind Scotty Scheffler heading into the final round. But in his final 11 holes at Quail Hollow, 3 birdies, 8 par, 6 under, tied with Harris English and Bryson DeChambeau for second place. Davis Riley's comments. Super excited the way I finished. It was kind of a gut punch what happened on 7. I bounced back really good. Very stoked. Very fun week. A lot to learn from. He says, I've been in pretty good form the last 2 months. It was a struggle at the beginning of the year, but I'm starting to hit a lot of good golf shots and holding a lot of good putts. He says, it's easy, us golfers, to get obsessive. So I spent a lot of the offseason trying to really straighten out my ball flight. And he says, I feel like when I'm playing my best golf, I'm seeing about a 5 or 10 yard draw with my irons. Sure. And I've learned to live with this,
Beautiful.
So, hey, there you go. Everything doesn't have to be straight as a string, right?
Mm-hmm. I line up right of the target. Every shot I hit, I am right of the target.
Yeah. That's also how John lines up politically. It happens that way too. So
line up right of the target, ball goes right toward the hole.
All right. One more.
Also, Barry, I noticed your favorite player, Harris English, tied for second.
Harris.
And those guys parted about $1.4 million for finishing second.
All right, spin it to
Not
make it
bad.
official,
Okay.
Gurn.
Yep.
And let's see what happens here. It's going to land on the Troy Trojans. We got some postseason baseball that's going to start right here in Montgomery at Riverwalk Stadium.
Yep, the Sun Belt Tournament. Everybody's in the postseason now. Sun Belt Tournament begins tomorrow with single elimination games in the afternoon. The Troy Trojans will play in the first day of the double elimination round, Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. Troy versus Old Dominion. We'll have the radio broadcast from up there. Tickets you can get from the Montgomery Biscuits box office. Before the game, Biscuits and Baseball presented by the Trojan Warrior Club at Riverwalk Stadium in Montgomery. So if you get there early, head on over to a brunch buffet in the Club Car Bar. Complimentary biscuits, bacon, eggs, fruit, and coffee available to Trojan Warrior Club members and season ticket holders. You can also purchase mimosas and Bloody Marys at the bar as well. That's at 8:30 on Wednesday. Trojans and the Old Dominion Monarchs play on Wednesday at 9 a.m. to get the double elimination round of the Sun Belt Tournament underway at Riverwalk.
Beautiful.
Stadium. There you go.
Awesome. Should be a lot of fun. All right, tomorrow, our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Travis Ryer on YouTube. We'll be talking with him as well. And, talking a lot of NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, SEC baseball tournament, Sun Belt. Got a lot happening on tomorrow's show.
Much thanks to our Moneyline manager, Josh Harris, for joining us from the airport. Also, our producer, Gurn Jr. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.